Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weischadle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weischadle. Doug, I'm getting into the spring feeling. I actually watched preseason baseball.
How'd that go?
About an inning in, and then
Really?
it just got a little weird. I watched the Phillies playing the Toronto Blue Jays, I believe it was, and it was I was channel surfing, and I saw them playing. I stopped. I watched a bit, and I got into the spring feeling. But any preseason
Exhibition.
sport of any kind, I'm just not really into. I'm just not interested enough to stick with a whole game of a preseason sport.
Well, for preseason anything, it's kind of hard to watch because they only play the starters for just a little bit, or the projected starters right now, because the starting lineups can change by the time the season's open, no matter whether it's baseball, hockey, football, whatever. I'm starting to watch more and more basketball now because I just want to start getting ready for the NBA playoffs.
You're getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I have yet to watch preseason baseball. I haven't watched it in about 3 years because I don't find the exhibition baseball, maybe seeing some pitching, seeing how the pitchers are. I just don't find the preseason helpful.
For me, it just felt good to see baseball. I mean, I'm getting into, the weather is getting nicer, and, I wanted to stop and watch a little baseball. It makes you feel better. That spring is here, summer's coming up, so that's probably the only reason I stopped. By the way, I don't get people who bet on preseason sports of any kind. It's just absolutely incredible. I know people. I know a couple people who bet on preseason football. I don't know how they do that, but
for baseball, maybe.
Baseball, I don't. Are there lines for preseason baseball?
Yeah.
Are there really?
Yeah, there are.
That's weird.
It depends on the book, I should say, because a lot of books don't offer preseason baseball betting. But again, in terms of preseason baseball betting, I mean, the only thing I would look at doing is maybe a pitcher for the first inning.
And
that's it.
I don't even.
Maybe runs.
Look, preseason is a time when they work out all the kinks and the mistakes and things like that. I don't see betting on that and preseason in any sport. So there's my preseason baseball story.
There you go.
That's about it.
That's your betting tip right there.
Yeah. Well, we got a great show coming up. We got a Beatin the House. We got a book report. And I have a very interesting interview, and I really enjoyed talking with Tim Debyl. He's the head of the American Ultimate Disc League, which is an incredible sport to watch. I mean, you see him sometimes on the ESPN Top 10. I hate to call it Frisbee football, but, that's kind of how to describe it, really.
It's Frisbee played on a football field, maybe a little soccer thrown in.
Yeah. I mean, it's they have a sports betting deal.
Yeah.
You can actually bet on American Ultimate Disc League, and we're going to talk to Tim Debyl about his sports betting deal, his media deals, and really, it's an incredible sport, and it's a really up-and-coming league.
It's fun to watch.
You got to check it out.
It's fun.
Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Today's Exit 1. Let me ask you a question. If you're running a sports bar, what do you do if you can't get a sports betting license?
Hopefully you have an app or something that you can partner with, if that's even legal in the state where the sports bar is residing.
Well, the other answer to the question,
okay,
besides that, is also
the intelligent answer to the question
is opening a sports betting branded bar.
Okay.
Which seems to be a very up-and-coming way to approach the sports betting industry if you can't get a sports betting license. Remember a while ago in South Philly, Chickies and Pete's attempted to get a sports betting license for their restaurant in South Philly, and they couldn't do it?
But they got one for Malvern. There's a actual sports book. I think they partnered with Parks that they have the Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. They have I haven't been there yet. We talked to Katie Kohler, who's an incredibly knowledgeable person, an incredibly great writer in the Pennsylvania, play Pennsylvania and Philadelphia Inquirer. And, she was there, and it's an actual sports book.
It's an actual sports book in the Chickies and Pete's restaurant in Malvern.
When I first heard about Chickies and Pete's in Malvern getting sports betting, I just assumed that they're just throwing some kiosks in it. No, they actually have windows that you go up to and you place bets in.
Well, if you're a restaurant and don't want to go through the rigmarole of getting the sports betting license or the zoning or the permissions from the state, you can actually do what Barstool has done. Barstool has just recently, and Katie talked about this in her interview with you, the Barstool branded sports bar in Philly.
Yeah, actually, Katie broke the story of the location where it was actually going to be in Philadelphia. So, when we're talking about Chickies and Pete's and their sports book, Barstool was the place I would think that they would have a sports book in their sports bar.
Well, they don't have the
but they do have an app.
The restaurant itself is basically a way to promote the app without having, or even the brand Barstool, the sports betting app, without having to open up a sports book themselves inside the bar. Now that's nothing really earth shattering, because we've been seeing this happen a lot. We have the Sports and Social brand that's partnered with FanDuel, and when they're in the casinos, they have a sports book attached to them, the FanDuel sportsbook.
Okay.
PointsBet in Michigan opened a PointsBet branded sports bar in the Little Caesars Arena. And I remember when they first opened it, they have these little cute things like the parlay burger.
Okay.
And you build the burger, the burger's the first leg, and then your toppings are additional legs.
We went to a sports book branded sports bar. I don't know why that's so tough for me to say there.
The alliteration?
But it was the golf, the Top Golf.
It was the PointsBet bar in the Top
Golf in Mount Laurel, New Jersey.
Yes.
I believe
there's a couple of those.
Yeah.
And we've got more
and
coming.
Also, I don't know, Buffalo Wild Wings is doing something.
Well, they have
with
the BetMGM channel.
Okay, they have the channel going.
Yeah, and where there is sports betting legal in the state where a Buffalo Wild Wings is in, you can use the app.
Use the
BetMGM app.
BetMGM
app. Yeah. But we've also got another book, a bar coming besides the Barstool Sports branded bar. Let me put it that way. We have Bankroll coming too, which is another
Bankroll. Okay.
It's another sports bar or a high end sports bar coming. That's not going to have a sports betting license, but it's going to build on the sports betting theme, and it's going to be there to encourage the sports betting industry to actually go to the bar, hang out, and bet. It's going to be catering to sports bettors.
If you're in a state that has mobile sports betting, guess what? Every place is a sports book. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can stop at a service center in New Jersey and take out your phone and place bets. So that becomes a sports book.
I just like the fact
you really don't need,
I like the fact
sports
that
books in sports bars. Because
I disagree. I like the fact that you're getting bars promoting the sports betting lifestyle, I guess you could say it that way.
I love the atmosphere.
It's a way to go around if you want to be involved in the sports betting industry without having to go through the license procedures to get a book. This is a way to do it, and it seems to be a trend going across the country.
Look, there's no better place to watch a game than at a sports book. And let me tell you, whether you're betting or not, it's just the atmosphere is great. I mean, I go to a retail sports book, I watch the game, but I still bet on my phone because, I just, I guess I'm lazy. I don't want to get up and walk to the window and sometimes when I win, I don't want to go up to the window and collect. I mean, if I win, it goes right into my account and my phone. So,
But it's an interesting trend going around the country.
It's a lot of fun watching it in a sports book. And when you have a sports book in a sports bar, I think it just doubles the fun.
But if you can't do the book in the bar, the sports bar pushing the sports betting, that's actually a great alternative.
Yeah, it's a great theme.
Exit 2.
In today's esports exit, we're going to be talking about a brand new web series started by AE Studios, which is the content arm of Allied Esports.
When you say web series, I mean,
it's exactly what I just said. It's a TV series on the web.
It's kind of like a dramatic scripted series? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's a, think of a America's Got Talent type show.
Okay.
Or I should call it Streamers Got Talent.
All
because what the show called Elevated aims to do is to increase the audience of streamers who are on the outer edges of the industry. Not a lot of people know about it. So this show is designed to give those types of streamers an opportunity to put their product in front of a larger audience.
Their product, okay.
Their stream.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's the way you got to refer to it, product.
Okay. This isn't like a competition show.
It is a competition.
It is a competition.
Yes.
I mean, are they actually playing esports against each other kind of thing, or no?
This is basically, like I just said, an America's Got Talent kind of thing.
So who has the best esports show or stream or whatever it's called?
During each episode, they're going to be split. Each episode of Elevated,
all right,
is going to be split up into 6 segments.
Okay,
each segment is going to be given to a different streamer.
All right,
and they're going to have that segment to generate the best amount of audience interaction as possible.
Okay.
It's hosted by, and I didn't even know there was such a thing as this, the chess streaming sisters, Alexandra and Andrea Botez. I didn't know there was such a thing as streaming chess.
Chess, huh?
That's another one I'm not used to.
Chess an esport? I guess it can be. I guess anything if you're streaming.
There is esports tournaments for chess.
All right,
so,
okay.
But this is a 3-hour show each week.
Okay.
It's 6 segments, like I said, and each one an under-the-radar stream. That's what they're referring to, these these outer fringe streamers.
So when you say under-the-radar stream, you're talking about people that don't have a lot of followers on the internet.
Right.
Okay.
Each streamer will be taking over the hosting duty for the segment.
Okay.
And they can show what their content is in that one segment. So basically, I mean, if they do like an hour show, they have like the one segment to condense it and do their best, like almost like a pitch reel.
Okay,
if you want to put it that way. And the people can see exactly what the content's like. They get mentorship from guest creators. People come on and talk to them about everything. They interact with Twitch chat, schmooze with the sisters.
Okay.
And
hey, I think that's great for streamers. I mean, if you want to do this for a living, I mean, it gets your name out there. It gets your stream noticed, and, you get some help if they see a little issue with your stream and how to make it better.
You compete for prizes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, what do they compete for?
Well, according to AE Studios, by the way, this is broadcast on the channel Hit Point 1. That's where the series is broadcast.
All right.
And they've got companies like Progressive, Tyson Foods, HyperX, all sponsoring the show.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
And at the end of every show, they look at who tallied the most, interactions from each segment from the different streamers.
Okay.
And let's see, there's a leaderboard.
All right.
That they put up everybody's scores on. Creators who end up on the top of that leaderboard will get an invite to the 2022 Esports Awards, courtesy of Tyson Foods, a streamer kit from HyperX, $1,000 cash. So this is really a competition show for streamers. I would think the person who streams their segment first would have a definite advantage. I don't know. Certainly people will want to check out the show, and when they want to check out the show, they're going to give it the first 10, 15 minutes and check it out. So, I would guess the person who streams the first would have a definite advantage, wouldn't they? You would think. Honestly, with competition shows like this, it really depends upon what the content is. And also, even if you don't go first, and even if you don't win, you may create enough of a buzz that virally later something may happen. So it's another aspect of the esports community where they're actually getting streamers to actually come on board, and if you don't know about these guys, you may actually find someone you really like and start following.
I'd be very interested,
even if they don't win.
I would be very interested to see what the streamers do just to get attention. They might be doing some crazy stuff on here, so it'd be. I would think it'd be very entertaining to check out how streamers get your attention and get you to stick with them.
Well, again, it's a competition show among streamers, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing this.
It's a good idea.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
Exit 3.
For what's become our designated NFT exit, we're going to talk some restaurant NFTs.
I mean, is just everything going to have NFTs now? It's
basically.
Just basically. Is that like a currency now? Now we're just going to use NFTs for currency?
It's actually not a currency.
I know.
It's more a ticket.
It's like a ticket or a pass or I don't know. But boy,
I am just amazed at the creativity of how people are using NFTs lately. And I've got two examples here that are just off the wall, incredible ideas, and they're selling out too.
Oh, okay. All right.
We've got restaurant NFTs here. We've got what's being called the world's first ever NFT restaurant, called the Fly Fish Club.
Okay. What do you mean NFT restaurant? I mean, I'm assuming these are like prepaid cards that you bring in and you put $100 on an NFT.
First of all,
is that am I going off the rails here or what?
Before we even get to that, let me tell you this:
am I not getting the concept of this?
We're talking about a restaurant that hasn't even opened yet.
Okay,
doesn't even have a location yet.
All right, tell me how they're using NFTs in restaurants.
The Fly Fish Club, which is a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs have formed this.
Okay,
Gary Vaynerchuk is one of them. And a whole bunch of other big names in the entrepreneurial and the NFT industry are getting together for this. The NFT for the Fly Fish Club grants the owner of the NFT unlimited access to members-only private dining experiences in New York City.
Okay,
along with a series of exclusive digital and in-person special events. What those are, no one knows yet because, like I said, this is a restaurant that hasn't even picked a location yet.
Wow. But they're doing an NFT even before a location. They did an NFT. They did an NFT.
1,500 NFTs were released and sold out in minutes.
Wow.
The basic tier one, with whatever special things,
it's like a Diners Club card kind of thing.
$8,000 each.
What? Okay.
Premium tier was $14,000.
What are they feeding you?
There's not even a physical place yet.
Okay, all right. Just wow. Okay.
Now, like I just said, $8,000 to $14,000 for those NFTs.
Okay.
Chotomati, the high-end restaurant all over the world, there are whole different restaurants for them all over the world, has just said, "Hold my beer."
Okay.
They have NFTs starting at $1 million.
Wow. Okay. All right.
The series is called The Founder. And it's an NFT that's a one-time release collectible chip card that grants the owner exclusive membership access to every Chotomati restaurant opening around the world.
So you get these NFTs, and you say the Fly Fish Club, that's what it was called. You got this NFT, so you have it on your phone, right? You just go to a special place eventually,
you have it somewhere,
and you show the person, and you gain entry into it,
right?
And part of that NFT is the food that is served, correct?
Right.
So it's a pass and it's a payment kind of system. I mean, it's like a gift card.
Chotomati is actually including some really great perks to this as well. Not only do you get
for $1 million, I hope so.
Not only do you get to invitations to every restaurant that they open, you get first class flights, 5-star accommodations. You get access to the distillery, the vineyard, the farm that they own. They get New Year's Eve dinner invitations for 6 at any location that you want. An exclusive at-home experience with the restaurant's executive chef coming to your house and cooking for you. Mm-hmm. So for $1 million, plus also 2 tickets to one major sports event per year.
Wow.
So they are...
God forbid you lose your phone that has this NFT on it. I mean, what do you do? I mean, that's unbelievable. I'd be paranoid about carrying a $1 million NFT.
I wouldn't even know
on
where
my phone.
I wouldn't even know where I felt safe carrying this. Whether it's on my computer, my tablet, my phone. I don't know where I would actually feel. Maybe on a little jump drive that I keep it off, so no one else has access to it. That's coded.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you lose it, what happens?
I don't know.
I mean, are you going to be able to replace this?
Yeah. Wow, boy, it's...
I mean, if you have all the right ID and everything else, but again...
Do you know how many times I forgot my phone at home? I'd be, paranoid if I had a $1 million NFT. I was like, where's my phone? I can't believe I have an NFT on my phone.
You would never leave your phone anywhere.
Well, that's always the question nowadays. If you had to forget something at home, would you rather forget your wallet or would you rather forget your phone? So it's one of those things.
If you're dealing with something like this,
phone first. Well, you can pay for stuff from your phone. So who knows now?
Unless they have a online database where you log in and activate it that way, where you don't have to worry about carrying anything. You just give them your name and password and log in. But again, NFT usage is becoming more and more creative. I love this stuff.
They must have to scan something.
Yes.
If you're, these are premium
QR codes,
NFTs.
all that stuff,
you must have to scan something.
Exit 4.
And for our last exit today, we're going to talk a little name, image, likeness.
Okay.
This is a way for student athletes to make money.
Sure. It's a good idea.
It's being used that way. It's something where if
some old school coaches hate it, but it's welcome to 2022.
And I have to admit, I don't know if every college likes it either.
Yeah, well, I guess they have to be careful with everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But we're going to be talking about something that I've noticed is starting to be a trend in a lot of the states where, in terms of NIL deals, the colleges can't offer them directly to the students. They can't participate in them. It's called an NIL collective, name, image, likeness collective.
All right.
And this is a group of, I don't want to say boosters, but either for alumni, boosters, fans, whatever, getting together and forming these organizations. They're charity organizations. They fall under the charity law.
Okay.
And they go ahead and work with the student athletes. They take donations from other fans and boosters to help work out deals for the different athletes.
Okay.
Case in point, we've got 2 in Pennsylvania.
All right.
2 specifically for Penn State.
All right.
In Pennsylvania, the law, let's see, let me just read this the right way here. I want to make sure. The Pennsylvania bill for name, image, and likeness prevents institutions from arranging third-party representation with athletes.
Okay.
So these collectives have been formed
outside of the college.
Outside the college. They have nothing to do with the actual
college. Has nothing to do
with
They
may be alumni and boosters,
yeah,
but they have really no connection with the college itself as an entity.
Okay.
They go ahead and work with the student athletes to actually hook them up with contracts.
Okay. All right.
And 2 of them have actually been making some interesting news. One of them is called Success with Honor. It's formed by Todd Blackledge,
okay,
LeVar Arrington,
all right,
Michael Robinson, and Lisa Salters.
Oh, okay, good.
And they have actually formed, like I said, the Success with Honor. And there's another one coming down the road. It hasn't launched yet, called the Nittany Commonwealth.
All right.
Penn State Nittany Lions.
Sure.
And again, this is where, let's take Success with Honor. And this is an example of what's going on in states where these things are needed. These entities are needed to help the students get the deals.
Okay. Yeah.
The Success with Honor. Fans can contribute to Success with Honor, and the organization gives 85 to 90% of the donations to the athletes.
Okay.
Now, the donations can be sports specific. You give it to a football player, you give it to whatever, with sports specific, and it's a contract through the collective where that athlete will represent whoever is giving the donation.
So it's not really a contract directly with the athlete.
It's a non-exclusive contract.
It's a contract with the association that was formed for the NIL, or
to a certain extent.
Okay.
You do a contract with the association for the association to hook it up with the athlete.
All right,
and you can direct it to whatever athlete you want to do.
Okay.
And again, it's a matter of a lot of these athletes don't have any way to get some of these deals. I mean, the high-profile ones, yes.
Oh, sure. And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up. We got a Beat in the House. We got a book report, and I'm talking with Tim Debyl from the American Ultimate Disc League. We're going to hear all about the league. We're going to hear all about sports betting deals and their media deals. It's a really incredible league. I think you're going to hear a lot about them in the future. So I'm talking with Tim Debyl, coming right up with more Turnpike Sports.
Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore.
Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Dave Weischadle with you here. I'm excited to talk to our next guest because he's part of a league that I think you're going to hear a lot about in the future. Tim Debyl is the co-founder and CEO of the American Ultimate Disc League. Not only is this sport incredibly fun to watch, but they have done deals in the sports and media industry that I think their fans are really going to love. One of those deals may even lead to betting on the sport. And to tell us all about the league, Tim Debyl is on the line with us right now. Tim, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I think I told you off air that, I'm so happy to do this interview because it gave me a chance to check out the American Ultimate Disc League. And like I said, it's a blast to watch. For people who aren't familiar with the American Ultimate Disc League, can you explain the sport and how it's played?
Sure. So it's a 7-on-7 field sport. We actually play on a NFL football field-sized field. And basically, you score goals or touchdowns by throwing the Frisbee into the end zone. When you catch a disc, you can't move with it, so it kind of takes from basketball, right? So you set a pivot foot.
Uh-huh.
These guys can throw 80 yards, 90 yards. So, I mean, you've probably seen highlights on ESPN.
Sure.
You usually get on, like, the top 10, 10, 15 times a year, and usually it's a 60-yard pass with a receiver skying somebody else. Or laying out. That's the other big layout.
Yeah.
The other big highlight is just guys basically laying out for Frisbees.
Now, how long has this league been around?
So we were founded in 2012. I actually bought a franchise that year, the Madison Radicals. And kind of at that time I was running my own marketing firm. And, I just I'd already fallen in love with the sport a long time ago. And obviously that's why I bought the team. But I kind of moved into a league position at that point. The league got bought out by an investment group out of Silicon Valley, and they were looking kind of to improve the marketing of the league. And so they tapped me in my firm for a little while, and then eventually I left my firm to do AUDL full time.
You mentioned the teams and the team you own, the Madison Radicals. How many teams are involved in the league? Because I looked at the website, and it looks like you have a team in every major city in North America.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So we've expanded to 25 teams this year. We added Denver, Portland, and Salt Lake City, which was kind of the missing hole, that kind of Middle West area of the country. We have 3 teams in Canada, Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto. So, yeah, we basically cover, all of North America. We're split into 4 divisions, and, each division sends a representative to our championship weekends, which is, Final Four style, which I think is appropriate to mention today. We really like that format where we get all 4 teams for a weekend, and we play semifinals on Friday night and then championship game on Saturday night.
Now, the first thing I did when I saw the team was pick out my local team. Since I'm in New Jersey, about a half hour outside of Philadelphia, I've been checking out the Philadelphia Phoenix on the internet, and I certainly want to check them out live. And I'm certainly going to circle the calendar when the Madison Radicals play Philadelphia Phoenix. So I'll definitely check that one out. But tell me about the season. How long is it, and where can people buy tickets if they want to go see a live game? Because I definitely want to check this out live.
Yeah, so the season starts the last week of April, so April 30th is our opener. It runs all the way through August. You can actually catch games on FS2 this year on Saturday nights. Our championship game will be live on FS2, and then we'll get a replay on FS1, so we're pretty excited about the relationship with Fox. You can find out about tickets at audl.com, which is kind of our main site, and from there you can kind of check out each individual team site and go from there. But tickets are really inexpensive. I mean, one of our goals when we started the league is to kind of create a professional sport that is affordable for families, you know, and obviously we're new. So, you know, you can find tickets from $10 to $25 depending on what market you're in.
Now, you mentioned before, everyone in their life has probably thrown a Frisbee, but it's incredible how good these players are and how far and how accurate they can throw a disc. Where do the teams find their players? I'm sure a lot of people out there are saying, boy, I'd love to try something like this, or I'd love to try and do this. How can aspiring players possibly play for the league?
Well, I mean, depending on what city you're in, like I'll take Madison, which is a booming ultimate team. I mean, we have middle school teams. Every high school team has a team. The high school nearest me, where my wife teaches, had 200 kids try out for their high school team, which was more than any other sport. You can play in college. So college, there's like a whole college club season that happens. It's run by USAU Ultimate. There's, depending again what city you're in, like Philadelphia, for instance, has a huge city league. Mm-hmm. And then there's club, which is, again, run by USAU, that you can create your own team and play in. And then, you know, we basically draw from all those places. You know, we get in Madison, particularly where I am, there's a really good college team. So most of the players that I get come from that college scene. But you know, we have guys who started playing as adults, who are incredible athletes who, you know, pick up the sport. There's former college football players in the league, particularly a couple D-backs. You know, that kind of makes sense. Kind of a wide receiver, a D-back makes a lot of sense for the sport. But you know, the skill of throwing takes a long time to master. So, you know, these guys who play in college, I mean, they're throwing every single day for 4 years to get to where they are. So that's usually the toughest part. I had a former Wisconsin Badger wide receiver come out for the team a couple of years ago, and it took him a long time to figure out how to throw a Frisbee. And so he never really, you know, got to the level to play in a lot of our games. So, I mean, it's, you know, we're drawing a lot of people from a lot of different places right now. And it is a really fun sport. And if you play basketball or football, it really resonates with you because a lot of the footwork and everything is really similar.
As you said, you're sometimes featured on ESPN's top 10 plays, which goes to show how athletic your players actually are. Is that what's attracting the audience? The game is simple, but it's really nonstop action. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that when we started the league in 2012 is we really tried to like get rid of anything that slowed the game down. And so time between points is 45 seconds. So if you come to a game or you're watching on TV, you basically get action almost the entire time. So it plays a lot like soccer. So there's an opening pull, which is like a kickoff. And basically that point continues until a team scores. There's no breaks or anything. And then once a team scores, both teams have 45 seconds to get their 7 players on the line before the next kickoff. So it's really fast paced. It's great for TV. It's great for in person. You know, there's a lot of goals. Our average games run around like 20 points for each team. So, you know, a 21-19 score is going to be a pretty average score. So, you know, you get to see a lot of goals. It's pretty non-contact. So, like, you know, people aren't wearing helmets or anything. There's no tackling, but, you know, there's a little physicality a lot of times in the air. So, you know, if you throw a 60, 70-yard pass and you've got a, you know, offensive player and a defensive player, you're going to see a nice, you know, something like you'd see in football where 2 guys go up and one of them tries to bring it down. But it's, you know, non-contact. So I think a lot of people like that part of it as far as playing it. I think athletes like that as well. It kind of extends the career of the players. I mean, you can play the sport for a long time. That's why you see a lot of adults picking it up. There's a lot of adult leagues kind of in certain cities. So it kind of depends on where you are. Really big on East and West Coast, and then sort of the Midwest. It's gotten big in the last 10 years, and South is still, that's all football, right? It's hard, to break in down there, but there's definitely pockets where there's a lot of players.
One of the things that all sports league had to deal with over the past couple of years, and a lot of sports leagues are still dealing with it in the New York City area, is the pandemic and things like that, how they deal with COVID. How did the American Ultimate Disc League deal with COVID, and what effect did it have on the league, and how did it come through the pandemic?
Yeah, well, we took off one full season because we happened to kind of be right in the heart of it. So we were starting in April. This would have been 2020. And so we weren't able to get a season off. We thought about doing a bubble at the end of the summer, but we decided that it wasn't the best thing for the league. In 2021, we managed to get every player in the league vaccinated, which was, I think, a pretty amazing feat. And we pulled off a great season in 2021. And that was our first season on Fox. We had previously been on ESPN3 and then Stadium Sports, which was our first kind of live linear. And then last year, the deal with Fox, which extends for another couple of years.
Now, one of the biggest sports stories nowadays is sports betting. But the first step in sports betting is compiling the data for the public. And recently you just did a data deal with L Sports Data and UniX Technology. Tell me about those deals and what it means for the fans of Ultimate Disc League.
Yeah, so we were really forward thinking on this. When we started the league in 2012, we had some Silicon Valley investors. So they talked a lot about tech right off the get-go. So we started taking stats on an iPad, I think in 2016, and basically created our own stat server that's like a cloud-based stat server. So we could feed websites, apps, and everything. So when we started talking to L Sports last year, who was basically looking for data rights around sports leagues, we already showed them that we already were taking stats in a really good way. They were live. We had an API for them to use. So it was sort of a no-brainer for them. They were looking for a way to get more into the U.S. market. They're mostly Asia and European right now. And so basically that was one leg of it. And the other leg was we also had a deal last year with DraftKings, which was awesome. So they were doing a Friday night Frisbee game for free on their YouTube channel. And they also helped us get on their platform. And we were live betting last year in 5 states.
Wow,
and
okay.
Currently available in 8 states and working on kind of the big couple that are missing, which is like New Jersey. So if we get New Jersey, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So they're helping us shepherd through that process of getting okayed for sports betting. Well, but overall, that relationship was great for us. Well,
I want to ask you about that. Tell us about your relationship with DraftKings. How did that come about, and what was the response to you being featured on the DraftKings site?
Yeah, they were looking for kind of new sports where they could take more ownership and create content around it. And so, they approached us and basically asked if we'd be open to the idea of having a game on the DraftKings platform. And then kind of as part of that, they would help us kind of create some live betting around the sport. We were super excited by that idea. So we did it. And so basically, we created some content for them during the week. So we were on their podcast, and there was our lead announcer did something called Lepler's Locks, which they shared a lot, which was basically just him picking the top 4 games every week. And then, we were on their YouTube channel on Friday nights, which I think was really cool. Overall, it was great. We definitely felt like it helped grow the sport. Basically, DraftKings was really happy with it. And overall, I think it was a great way for us to get introduced into the sports betting world. It's a really fun sport to bet on, I think, because the games are really close, and there's just a lot of scoring. We didn't do sort of in-game betting yet. We're working on that for 2023, but that's where I think it gets really interesting because you could imagine you're watching this game, and every time there is a kickoff, there's going to be a score, and usually that score takes anywhere from like 30 seconds to a couple minutes, depending on how many turnovers there are. But it really lends itself well to being able to like bet on each point, see what happens, and then bet on the next point. So that's kind of where Eld Sports sees this going. So we're working with them on some algorithms that allow them to offer that sort of point by point betting during the game, which again they kind of see it as a little bit like tennis, where they kind of cut their teeth in the sports betting world. They also do a lot of table tennis, where you can kind of bet on every point.
You brought up a great point. Anytime I talk to a professional league about sports betting, they always use the term fan engagement. Is that the feeling at American Ultimate Disc League, that, really sports betting will help with more fan engagement and really grow the sport a lot quicker than without sports betting?
I think it will. I mean, that was sort of DraftKings' idea, and we've talked to a lot of different, like FanDuel, PointsBet. And I think they all say the same thing, is that we're in that April to August range where there isn't a ton of options for sports betting. I mean, people love betting on football and basketball. Baseball has not quite taken off as much in the sports betting world, I think. And so we'd really just be competing with them. So they're always looking for new properties to work during the summer. So I think that's going to be a big part of it for us. But obviously having DraftKings, do free-to-play pools every week for us, and just promoting us during the week is to their fans and their clients, I think is really good for us.
You said there is already betting on the sport in certain states, but when it comes to sports betting, does the league have a time frame when sports betting could be possible in all the states that you have teams in? I mean, what is your plan moving forward when it comes to sports betting and in other states?
Yeah, I mean, we're working on all the states where it's legal. So obviously here in Wisconsin, we don't have that opportunity, but Illinois and Michigan both have legalized sports betting, so we're working on those states. Indiana, so it really is right now still state by state on what you can and can't do. So, we'll keep working on it. Obviously, you can bet on any team if you're in one of the states where it's legal.
I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I can't wait for it to come to New Jersey. And it's one of those, interesting things. It's one of the challenges for any league going from state to state and trying to work out the regulations and the process to betting on your team. Is it more challenging when you're not one of the big four leagues? I mean, you're not the NFL, you're not MLB. Do you find that you're explaining your sport to the regulators, and that's part of the challenge in getting it into one of the states for sports betting?
Absolutely. I think if we didn't have, the sort of support from the legal, from DraftKings, at least as far as helping us shepherd our way through this process, I think we would really be far behind. So I think, again, they have that experience. They've worked with all the big leagues, and so, I mean, from our end, that was probably the best part of our relationship with them last year, was just learning about how we actually get through this process. And I think it makes regulators, I think, a lot more likely to do something if they see that someone like DraftKings trusts that we have all of our ducks in a row and that we know what we're doing.
Another thing that's happening with the American Ultimate Disc League is that you announced recently that you have a video game coming out that could be available to your fans very soon. Tell us something about that project. How did that come about, and what can fans expect from the game?
Yeah, so basically during COVID, so this would have been, the beginning of 2020, we knew we had that season off, so we felt like we really wanted to make sure that we were doing something to move the league forward. So at that point, we actually created a sub business called LPX, which is I'm the CEO of as well, and raised money on separate from the AUDL in order to build a video game. I think we're probably the first pro league that's tried to create its own video game. Wow. So we own it 100%. We license so technically that LPX is a subsidiary of AUDL, but we licensed all the NIL of all our players and teams from from the AUDL and raised the money separately, and we're now 2 years into development, and we're looking to launch that later this summer. It'll come out on Steam first, which is a PC-only platform, but then, I mean, the goal is to get to Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox later this year. So we're pretty excited about it. I mean, it's obviously like, I would call it, Madden from mid-2000s. It's the first iteration of a sports game, first time anyone's built Ultimate for a console, I think. And so, I'm really excited about it. It'll include all of our players. It'll include, season mode. You can create your own team. You can create your own players. So we want it to be as close to what other pro sports have for a title as we can. Obviously, we don't have the same money that NFL and EA have, but in today's world, you can build a pretty good game. We raised $1 million so far. We probably need to raise a little bit more to finish the game off, but feel pretty good about where it's at right now.
The first thing I thought of when I read about the video game is how popular esports have become. I'm going down to Atlantic City for the first state-sanctioned peer-to-peer betting esport event, and they're playing Madden NFL games. Do you see the AUDL game possibly becoming involved in the esports realm like Madden or FIFA or NBA 2K? Because I think it would be a perfect fit for the esport leagues.
Absolutely, we do. I mean, that's one of the things that kind of drove us into this is we think it can drive engagement for the league, but we just think it's a really fun sport to play, right? I bought a team in 2012 because I played the sport quite a bit and just felt like it was something that people didn't know enough about. And I think the video game is going to be pretty similar. It's pretty unique that you find a new field sport, like you kind of have football and soccer, that, you haven't seen anything really new. I mean, lacrosse, obviously, and rugby are trying to do the same thing we are, is to get to that next level. But
sure.
I think the unique ability to kind of throw a frisbee anywhere on the field and kind of have that air battle between two players is going to be really fun in a video game. And I think, we'll see a lot more people playing it, and we would love to get into the esports realm with it too. Obviously, we needed to get it to be pretty popular before we get there, but I think on our end, we're going to try to own a lot of that stuff right from the get-go and build our own tournaments and do all those things that maybe other leagues haven't done. I don't think the NFL and Madden really work too much together. I think NBA 2K does work with the NBA quite a bit, as all the NBA teams have their own esports team, or at least a lot of them do.
A big topic in the sports world nowadays is the name, image, and likeness deals that are happening right now. When it comes to these NIL deals, what is the policy of the American Ultimate Disc League when it comes to these deals and its players?
Well, I mean, right now the main stuff we're doing is we're actually licensing. So this is through our subsidiary LTX. We're licensing all the NIL. So players, teams, everything, and we're trying to monetize that through this separate arm. And obviously we're trying to do that to get money back into players' hands. And so we've kind of taken the stance that this is going to be a big deal in the short term and the long term, and we want to make sure that we're kind of at the forefront and that we're doing the work on behalf of players and the league in order to figure out how to monetize these things and make sure that players are getting their fair share of it. So I think by trying to take a lot of this stuff on ourselves, it's a unique way to do it, and something that a lot of the other leagues haven't done. They've just sold out rights to different things. Mm-hmm. We just felt like by keeping it all sort of in-house that we might, have a better chance of being successful at it and keeping things fair for all of our players, coaches, and teams.
Another thing that's very important for sports leagues is their media deals. When it comes to watching the American Ultimate Disc League, where can people go and see it?
Sure. So right now, for this coming season, we'll be on Fox Sports 2 on Saturday nights live, and then there'll be a replay Wednesday nights, I think at 7 Eastern. We haven't actually come up with the exact time, but it looks like either 6 or 7 Eastern on Wednesdays. And then we have our own OTT platform called AUDL TV, where for $10 a month you can watch all 163 games on your computer. There's a Roku app on your phone, etc. So basically, there's a kind of a Monday Night Football style event on Saturday nights that's on Fox, and then other than that, you have to be behind a paywall. But you can watch every game, which I think is pretty awesome.
Now, a great source of information is your website, theaudl.com. What can people see when they go to your website? Walk us through what people can find there.
I mean, the main thing is learning about all the individual players and teams. So, I mean, you can go there and you can find, your local team. We have teams, like you said, in pretty much all the major U.S. cities, from Chicago to L.A. to Dallas. And then, just finding out a little bit more about the players. I mean, we have 700 players in the league who really work their butt off all year to get in shape for this. The season is very short, so it's April to August, but it's very intensive. You play every weekend. These games, they last about 2 hours, and if you haven't gotten a chance to see the sport, I know you have, but to listeners, it's very, very cardio intensive. I mean, you basically have guys who are running the full length of a football field over and over again throughout the course of the game. It doesn't play like soccer where players kind of stay in their area. The entire team has to run the full length and defend, the full length of the field all the way to the end zone. So I think the cardio and being in shape is just a huge part of the sport. And I think, again, it just leads to a lot of action and a lot of running. And, it's just really fun to watch.
So in the coming months and the coming year, what can people expect from the American Ultimate Disc League? I mean, what are some of the key events that people should be looking out for during the season for the AUDL?
Yeah, well, opening day is April 30th. We definitely will have a free game on that Friday night. I believe this year it's Atlanta and Carolina.
Okay.
So you can kind of watch the first game for free, and then we'll have a Fox game, which I think is New York and DC that Saturday night, and then a slate of 6 or 7 other games in your local markets that you can watch on AUDL TV. And basically, the season goes through until the end of July, and then we have playoffs where the top 3 teams from each division make the playoffs. You've kind of got a 2-3 game and then a 1 versus the winner. And then the 4 divisional champions actually come to Madison this year for our AUDL championship weekend, which is August 26th and 27th. And so like that Friday night, you'll get, kind of a Dallas against LA against Madison, let's hope, against New York. So each kind of the Central Division, the East Division, the South Division, and the West Division, each has a champion. And it's just a great format. It's a great weekend. The stadium here fits about 5,000, and we hope to fill that. We filled it before in previous years in Madison. We had a championship here in 2018 and in 2016 and had just great fan support, and it's an incredibly fun event to be at.
Tim, we're running out of time, but can you give out the website again so people can check out the American Ultimate Disc League, and also give out any social media addresses so people can keep up with what's going on with the league?
Yep, it's just theaudl.com. And from there, you can find our Twitter handle, which is the AUDL. We're big on Facebook. I think we're just AUDL on Facebook, and then Instagram as well, AUDL. And it's a great opportunity to go out and watch highlights. I mean, Instagram, I think, is a great spot to be if you're looking for us. We're posting highlights from last year all the time, and once the season kicks off, we pretty much have, it's just the sport's kind of like a highlight factory. You get to see a lot of incredible plays, and social media is obviously a great way to kind of follow and get to see all the best parts of every game. If you're not quite ready to sit down and watch a full 2-hour game yet, social media is a great way to get started.
Tim Debyl, co-founder and CEO of the American Ultimate Disc League, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about the league. I urge everyone to check it out because it is so much fun to watch. I think we're going to hear a lot about the AUDL in the near future, so please come back and keep us updated about what's going on in the league. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
With Drizzly, I can shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly also lets me shop from multiple stores in my area and compare prices on thousands of products.
Ding dong, Drizzly.
We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at beangenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to beangenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beatin the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of Beatin the House, where we're going to be talking about a few casino wins, slots. Pie Gal Poker seems to be a recurring theme all of a sudden.
Every week is Pie Gal Poker?
But again, the segment's designed to talk about all the different jackpots, to talk about the winners. I know we had a very unique one last week where we had the two guys winning a jackpot, which led to their arrest.
Yeah.
If you didn't catch that one, that's a very interesting
Was that
story.
last
Go back
week?
and listen to it. Yeah.
All my weeks are like blending into one another.
But we're going to be going through a lot of the jackpots that happen around the country, around the world even. We've got a whole bunch of different slot, table games, what have you. We receive the press releases from the different casino properties. Please keep them coming in. info@turnpikesportsradio.com. We actually learn about the games as we're talking about them, because some of these slot machines, some of these table games, the side bets, we're always learning more and more about this. And this week we've even got a couple sports bets to talk about.
We were in Atlantic City the other day, and, I was walking through the gaming floor, and I was like, hey, we talked about that slot machine. We talked about that slot machine. So, it's an education for me, because I get to hear about slot machines that are out and new and things like that, and actually paying off.
And we have a very different Beatin the House this week, because these are all brick-and-mortar jackpots.
Oh, okay. No online, huh?
We have online sports bets.
Oh, okay.
And also an in-person sports bet, too. But we have most of the casino jackpots are all brick-and-mortar.
All right.
And we're going to start off with a record. The MGM National Harbor over in Maryland has given out their largest jackpot ever.
Okay.
A poker player.
All right, good.
Identified as John C. Won a $3.04 million jackpot. That's $3 million before taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Playing face-up Pie Gal Poker. We're starting right off with
Pie Gal Poker. I didn't play this week, so I'm falling behind in my the lessons of my Pie Gal Poker adventure.
This was a progressive jackpot that has been building since the casino first opened.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, this has been building and building and building. No one
Okay.
has won this because they had set such a unique hand. A 7-card straight flush of hearts.
Wow.
He pulled that one on the table, and face-up Pie Gal Poker progressive jackpot of a record $3 million at MGM.
Now, MGM National Harbor has been open for a couple of years now.
Yes, it has.
And it's been building up over the years, huh?
Well, it's such a unique hand.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's.
I guess that's a way to do the set up a progressive. That's I wonder what the new hand is going to be. I wonder if they reset the hand.
I wonder if the player, or John C., is that his name? I wonder if he knew that was, like, before he even started playing Pai Gow poker, like thinking, gee, I need a straight with all hearts. And
that's a good question.
I wonder if, they go in playing the game knowing what the big progressive jackpot is.
Well, I would assume when you go sit down at these table games, you see the little pay tables they have, and also the different games or the different side bets listed.
Yeah.
I wonder if the progressive jackpot's listed there too.
Yeah. I've never played Pai Gow poker live. It's always been online, and that's, I guess, kind of the best way to learn it. But I have to take a look next time to see if, that hand is listed out and, people know what to look for and know what to go for.
I'm just wondering if MGM
jackpot.
National Harbor is now going to choose a different hand.
Yeah.
I mean, is that part of the skill to get this
other one
progressive?
took years.
Yeah.
Boy.
So now I guess maybe it's a 7-card straight flush of spades.
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, going across the country to Washington State.
All right.
Going to the Tulalip Resort Casino. A Linwood man won $2.4 million, the largest ever recorded in state history. We have another record.
Another state record, huh?
Another state record. Been a good week for state jackpot records. According to the casino, Jose Lopez, a painter, was there with his girlfriend, and she had to talk him into playing the Golden Charm slot machine. He didn't want to play.
Wow.
She talked him into it. And when he gave it a go, he won the record-breaking jackpot payout of $2.369 million.
Wow.
And also the casino, the Tulalip Resort Casino, was also the previous record holder in the state. They had a previous record of $1.1 million, so he just blew right by that one.
He built it by like another $1 million, $1.5 million.
And according to the casino, Mr. Lopez is a regular guest.
Good.
And he's won a previous jackpot before.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, they said he had won a $20,000 jackpot previously.
Wow.
So this actually kind of overshadows that.
See,
jackpot
it pays
there.
to be a regular at a casino.
Exactly.
It pays off.
And also the Golden Charms machine.
Never heard of that one, by the way.
Never heard of it either. I got to look for it now.
I don't even know what it looks like.
Has a 50 pay line setup.
Okay.
So they didn't say exactly what his bet was. So I'm assuming this could have been kind of a big bet with the 50 pay line setup.
I have no idea.
So
I don't know how that works out.
I don't know exactly what he bet. I don't know what he exactly hit, but he hit the record.
Okay. Good for him. Congratulations.
Going down to Las Vegas, the California Hotel and Casino, downtown Las Vegas.
I have no idea where that is.
It's in downtown Las
Vegas. Yeah, I guess
Vegas.
It's downtown Las Vegas, but I compared to where other places are, I don't know where that is.
Okay, we're going to be talking not about a record jackpot and not a huge jackpot either.
Okay.
But it's multiple jackpots by the same person sitting at the machine at one sitting.
Really? At one session?
At one sitting.
They get a couple of jackpots. Okay.
A lucky Hawaiian winner.
Well, congratulations.
Another visitor from Hawaii winning in Las Vegas. We have had so many stories about a visitor coming over from Hawaii and winning a huge jackpot.
Well, most people go to Hawaii for a vacation. If you're living in Hawaii, where do you go to for a vacation?
And Hawaii has no gambling.
Yeah, and I guess you just go to Vegas.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's that big of a flight. What is it? 3 hours?
Something like that. Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
So, the woman was playing video poker, hit a $10,000 jackpot.
Wow.
Then a few minutes later, hit a second video poker jackpot for $20,000.
Wow.
She hit $30,000 playing the same game at the same session in the same hour.
Wow.
So
video poker is the place. I've never played video poker on the gaming floor. Every time I played video poker, it was like sitting at the bar because they have the video poker machines right at the bar when you're sitting there. So that's when I play video poker.
Well, as I mentioned, the winner was from Hawaii, and according to records, and I actually went back through our previous Beatin the House segment notes. Let's see, we had a $275,000 progressive jackpot by another Hawaiian visitor playing IGT's Wheel of Fortune.
All right.
At Fremont. And then again at the Fremont earlier this year, before that February jackpot, a $1.1 million jackpot playing a $5 spin on a Wheel of Fortune super times pay, two times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times slot machine.
Okay.
That's the name of the machine. I had to read that out.
And these were all visitors from Hawaii. Okay. All right.
So must be kind of something lucky when you come over from Hawaii. I wonder if I have to take a flight to Hawaii, then go to Hawaii to Vegas to actually start winning some of these jackpots.
Do a stopover in Hawaii.
Yes. We're going to end this segment with 2 sports bets.
All right.
Do you want to do the online one first, or do you want to do the brick-and-mortar one?
No, do the brick-and-mortar one first, because we're doing all the brick-and-mortar one, then finish up with the online.
We are going to North Carolina.
Okay. All right.
Harrah's Cherokee Valley River in Murphy, North Carolina. Patron named Curtis hit a 9-leg parlay.
Jeez. Wow.
For $105,000. But he wasn't done. He was still there when he hit another single bet for another $21,000. He won a total of $126,000 on 2 bets.
Wow. Boy. That's another story like the one you just had, at one visit.
One session.
2 big bets hit.
It's actually really, really fun to see that kind of we've never had anyone from North Carolina before, have we?
I don't know.
Other than a lottery. I know we've done lottery stories.
I don't think so.
But doing it as a sports bet, no, I haven't. I don't think we've ever done one of those. Caesar Sportsbook, by the way.
Okay.
Since it was the Harrah's Cherokee, that's Caesar Sportsbook.
Okay.
We're going online to FanDuel.
All right.
And this is just a crazy bet. A UFC parlay hit.
Okay.
Bettor had actually 2 UFC parlays, I should say. This was for UFC Fight Night 203 and UFC Fight Night 204, so 2 consecutive fight nights.
Okay.
One bettor had a $750 15-leg moneyline UFC parlay hit.
15-leg?
15 moneyline UFC parlay.
Wow. Okay.
And then a $100 17-leg moneyline parlay.
17-leg parlay. Wow, boy.
Yes, it's an
These guys know their UFC.
I guess. I mean,
I'm terrible at betting a UFC. I rarely bet UFC.
I'm actually,
unless it's I read up on the match and get some good information.
I have to admit, I'm hesitant to bet on UFC because I am still learning that sport.
Yeah,
I mean, all MMA, I'm actually still learning.
I'm certainly not doing a 17-leg parlay on it.
No. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever done a UFC parlay. I've done individual bets for different fights, but I've never done a parlay.
If I do a parlay, it's going to be something like for like $5. These guys put like $100 on it. What was the other one?
He did a 750.
15-leg parlay? Jeez.
And I got to ask this question. Are moneyline UFC parlays or moneyline betting in UFC easier than what the other types of betting they offer for that? I don't know.
I would guess.
I would assume he did all favorites. Maybe.
I have no idea. You never know.
I have to take a look at the sheet. They actually sent out a picture of the sheet.
That's a gutsy move.
It's huge.
That's a gutsy move. Any parlay. That must be the whole night of fighting. You have something on everyone on the night.
I would assume that was the entire card.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, 15 and 17.
I don't know. That's a lot of. There must have been some other stuff.
Well, again, it's a moneyline parlay. It's each individual fight.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So. Congratulations to all our winners this week. Again, please keep those press releases coming in. info@turnpikesportsradio.com. We love doing this segment. We learn about all these different types of games that are out there. We even learned that a moneyline parlay in UFC seems to pay off a hell of a lot.
Wow.
If you're willing to take a chance like that. And congratulations to all our winners this week.
The book report is next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we're going to be talking about the state and national sports betting reports, about launches, as well as openings for different sports books. We've got legislation. We've got deals to talk about as usual. And as always, it's been a busy week. We even have the upcoming launch in Canada to talk about.
What is it, April 4th? Is that the magic date?
Exactly. But before we get to Canada, we're going to talk a little bit about the United States, and we're going to start with the American Gaming Association is reporting that right now there are 12 of the remaining 17 states that have operational sports betting industries going. 12 now have live legislation in their states that are moving forward to actually launch sports betting.
So, according to the American Gaming Association, what's the official numbers? We have how many states that don't have sports betting?
5.
Oh no, how many states that don't have
legislation?
Sports betting?
You're talking about actually
that just don't have sports betting.
17.
17 states.
12 have active legislation.
Okay.
There are 5 remaining that have no live legislation moving forward.
They just have no plans whatsoever.
No, they don't really
What
care.
are the 5? Do they list the 5?
Yeah, 2 are expected. Utah, Texas.
Okay.
That's kind of expected. Vermont, even though Vermont did, I think it was not last year, but the year before, did commission a study on sports betting.
Let me tell you something. Vermont is surrounded by sports betting states. Well, except for Maine. I think.
We're going to be talking about
Maine, too. Maine is getting a little closer. But
you just
Vermont,
did a little foreshadowing there. We're going to talk about Maine in a little bit.
All right.
The other 2 states, Idaho and Hawaii.
Okay.
So those 5 states have no active legislation going
and have
through.
No plans in the foreseeable future.
Hawaii last year, towards the end of the last legislative session, had 6 bills.
Yeah.
And none of them went through.
I always thought Hawaii would be the greatest place for casino resorts. I mean, it's a vacation area anyway, and I think Hawaii would thrive with casino and resorts and things like that.
So. Well, they've got a ton.
Who knew? I don't know.
They've got a ton of golf courses and other types of resorts there. I think they're happy with that.
Hawaii doesn't even have lottery, right?
No, that was one of the bills.
They have
that
absolutely
didn't make it through.
nothing.
No.
Absolutely, they can't even decide on lottery. So I don't think casinos are in the near future.
Well, Utah's the same way; has nothing like that.
Okay.
So, but there are 5 states that have yet to actually launch or even consider filing sports betting legislation, which leads us into some more discussion of what was going on in February. February seems to be what for now is a typical month in the United States sports betting industry. February had what became the 6th, let me get the number, 6th consecutive month the national handle has topped $5 billion.
Yeah.
And this is actually even considered the month where everything is slowed down because between Super Bowl and March Madness and February there's still states that are actually setting some interesting numbers in terms of handle.
Yeah, I know. February seems to be a lull in the sports betting industry. I don't know why. I mean, second week, what was it? February 13th was the Super Bowl. So,
well, again, a lot of people had their sports bets in for January.
I guess so. And a lot better games in January with the NFL playoffs. So I guess
I have to admit,
that drove a lot of betting. But no, I'm very surprised at February. The Super Bowl month is kind of a lull for everything. I know Pennsylvania and Michigan were in the red.
As a matter of fact, yes.
actually lost money.
Michigan had a negative $4.8 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And Pennsylvania came in with a negative $440,000 and some change.
Which I think is their worst month. Revenue-wise?
Yes,
yeah?
Yes,
okay.
That was their worst month.
Wow.
But again, February had is a lull, but January, remember, they had Louisiana and Arizona still. Arizona still has yet to report their January numbers.
Okay.
So I'm very curious to see what Arizona comes up with. They've been actually doing 2 months at a time.
Okay.
So,
all right.
it's actually kind of interesting that even though the handle has been going up in terms of February, we're seeing a lot of revenue being down. And we're still setting the consistent $5 billion handle mark. In terms of overall, listen to this number, and I got to thank Chris Altruda again from US Bets for throwing this number out there. The $42 billion bet since September 2001 is more than the amount bet between 2018 and 2020.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, $42 billion since September 2021. The 2018 to 2020 was combined $39.3 billion.
Okay.
I mean, it's about $2 billion difference, $3 billion difference.
Well, look,
but that is still a significant leap in terms of the number.
There are so many more states
yes.
allowing sports betting, so I guess that's what's driving the number there. So.
Yes. Well, as we're taping this, we're awaiting this current week's New York numbers, but I think it's safe
which will
to
be
say,
phenomenal
yes.
again.
I think it's safe to say that by the end of this 11th week of operation, New York should have over $4 billion in handle.
Yeah.
For that. At the week ending March 13th, they were at $3.9 billion.
Okay.
So they were only short money away from passing the $4 billion mark anyway. So I think we're safe in saying that the market has surpassed the $4 billion mark in 11 weeks.
Yeah.
DraftKings also was only $50 million away from the $1 billion club. So I'm going to make the assumption that DraftKings became the third operator to surpass the $1 billion mark. We have FanDuel, Caesars, and possibly DraftKings. I'm hedging that right now, but it should be those three as $1 billion handles since launch in New York.
New York is an interesting state. I'm sure you're aware the decision came down making fantasy sports legal, and everyone's like thinking, they're still litigating fantasy sports in New York. I mean, the same operators are taking sports bets, and they're still litigating fantasy sports. So, but a big case came down, and New York's highest court said, fantasy sports game of skill, and it's legal now. So, wanted to throw that in. I found it incredible that they're still talking about fantasy sports being legal or illegal in New York.
It does affect two of the operators in New York,
Sure.
DraftKings and FanDuel.
Sure.
And I think overall bottom line, the ruling is going to help them. Yes, they're going to have more and more business coming in.
Of course it's going to help
I
them.
think also it's going to ripple down through the other states that are having the same kind of question.
Yeah, well, I think it's just incredible that they're still talking about the legality of fantasy sports, and the same operators are legal sports betting book operators in New York. So I think it's, I got to be honest with you. When I saw the ruling, I just remembered, this case is still going on. I forgot all about it. So okay.
I honestly think we may see it continue to go on for a while. I mean, you're going to see
not
something.
New York,
not
but,
New York, but I'm talking about that argument back and forth. Before we get away with the we started off this segment here with the American Gaming Association. I'm going to at least announce this one, the USFL.
Yes.
Constantly in the news now. They have joined the American Gaming Association's Have a Game Plan Bet Responsibly program.
Good.
You're going to be seeing promos, announcements, that sort of social media by the league in terms of the bet responsible gaming stuff.
I really can't wait for the USFL. I'm very curious. It's kind of like a kind of trip down memory lane for me. I love them in the 80s, and so I'd be very curious to see. I'm also curious to see the level of football being played. I'm curious how good the football product is going to be. So
as long as it's better than what we've seen in the other spring leagues so far. I mean, the awful AAFL, if you want to call it that. It was good football, decent football, not really that great.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm sure the USFL is going to get a lot of people tuning in because of the reason I just said. They kind of grew up with it.
Oh yeah,
kind of I guess 3 or 4 years in the '80s, and it was fun to watch.
This is almost like the nostalgia.
Oh yeah. No, I can't wait.
I mean, I guess when the XFL relaunches, it's going to have some impact with people who saw the original one.
I still have, like I said, T-shirts for the Jersey Generals, and I have a sweatshirt for the Jersey Generals.
Yeah,
so
and
I got to break those out.
I'm just glad they included them in the
all
league.
The most of the original teams.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
I don't know. The LA Express. I don't think
there's only 8 teams, and none of them are on the West Coast. There's Michigan Panthers are back.
Michigan Panthers.
Yeah, Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah.
I don't know
Houston
about Memphis
Gamblers.
Houston Gamblers.
Okay, all right.
Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars.
The Breakers. But when the USFL started, the Breakers were
Boston Breakers.
Boston, then New England, and then they went to New Orleans.
New Orleans Breakers.
Yeah,
name didn't really fit back down there, but I guess
they still have the Washington Federals.
I don't know if they're
that
part
was
of the new,
Craig James. He was running back for Washington Federals. So I'm very interested to see.
It's going to be kind of fun to watch that.
Yeah.
So as we're moving from the United States, let's talk about Canada because we got their launch coming up. We might as well talk
April
about
4th, right?
Talk about this launch. They've got about 30 operators.
Okay.
All
jumping on
all
April
approved,
4th?
All approved.
Oh, okay.
Well, these are private operators.
Okay.
The lotteries in the provinces are already up and running, and they're doing extremely well with the single event sports betting.
Okay.
This is the private operator launch. We've got about 30 operators, like I said.
Okay.
BetMGM just got approval. The ScoreBet, PointsBet Canada. There's a few of them that are actually allowing you to pre-register, and they're getting some good responses. No exact numbers yet, but if you look at some of the stores, and I think a couple of people tweeted this out, Ryan Butler and a few other people tweeted out the numbers, that I think a couple of them are already number 1 and number 2 in downloads in the stores.
Oh, okay.
For
Good.
Canada.
Good.
And I want to thank those guys for putting that information out there as well.
Great.
But like I said, we have Canada launching. One of the big news stories that came out of there, we actually got 2.
Okay.
Kambi. Kambi is the platform provider for sportsbooks.
Yeah.
They are the first sportsbook provider to be licensed by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario.
Good.
They are the first provider, so that's a brand new category that was given permission to launch on April 4th. The other deal that happened was PointsBet Canada and the Canadian Football League team, the Ottawa Red Blacks.
What an awful name. Red Blacks? What's that?
I have to go take a look.
I don't even know what that means.
It's,
weren't the Ottawa Rough Riders? Wasn't that?
I think they changed the name because there was 2 Rough Riders.
Yeah, Calgary Rough Riders.
Yes, there were 2 Rough Riders. Now there's a Red Black.
Red Black.
But PointsBet Canada.
I don't know what a Red Black is. Is that
this uniform?
Oh, Red Black.
Yes.
Very creative.
Yes. not their uniform, but the uniform of the Rough Rider.
Oh, okay.
The colors.
Okay.
Yeah. PointsBet Canada, Ottawa Red Blacks, and TD Place, which is the home of the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Okay, Red
have
Blacks.
all done a deal.
I can't get over that name, though.
Oh, no.
What didn't they just do a contest so the fans can rename it and figure out the best name? They did.
I don't know how the CFL did this.
They looked down at their shirt and they said Red Blacks.
I guess.
Okay.
But you're going to be seeing PointsBet Canada logos all over the Red Black jerseys.
Okay.
You're going to see PointsBet Canada all over the TD Place stadium where they play.
It goes well with PointsBet because aren't their colors red and black?
Well,
it's perfect.
I
for
think that's kind of why that deal was kind of made.
Yeah, really?
I mean, I don't want to speak for PointsBet, but if it's a perfect color match, they don't have to change their logos. They're not going to. They're actually going to.
We picked the team because of the color.
Blend in.
Yeah. Okay.
So
their patches are going to look great if they're going to have patches on them.
So and also they're going to be the presenting sponsor of one of the lounges.
Okay.
In TD, I don't want to call it TD Park, TD Place.
TD Place.
That's their stadium.
All right.
So we got some interesting deals coming up. I'm very curious to see this launch on April 4th because it almost sounds like it's going to be a shotgun launch.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going to hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. And it'll be fun to see exactly where the industry goes with the private operators. I think they're Ontario is probably going to be the center of everything for the entire country there.
Yeah, no, April 4th is going to be crazy. It's going to be a great day in Canada.
But the Red Blacks are the very first CFL team to do a sports betting deal.
Okay.
So a little history made for that, history made for Canby. Good luck, Canada. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Going back into the United States, DraftKings had a whole bunch of announcements regarding sportsbook openings.
Okay.
Just go through some of these right here. DraftKings opened a temporary sportsbook at Hollywood Casino, Baton Rouge.
All right.
Permanent book is expected to open in 2023. The reason they didn't do a permanent book right now is the casino is being moved on land. It's a riverboat casino.
Oh, it's a riverboat. Okay.
They're doing a land facility.
Okay, that's good.
And this announcement comes 2 years after they announced that deal.
Yeah, I've never been on a riverboat casino. I wonder.
They don't really go in the river anymore. They're just docked.
Oh, they're just docked?
They're docked.
Okay.
They're docked. So they're actually moving it into a land-based facility. Also, DraftKings announced that they will unveil a new 6,000 square foot state-of-the-art permanent retail book at the DraftKings at Casino Queen site.
All right.
That was one where they actually rebranded the casino. The casino just used to be called Casino Queen.
Okay.
Now it's DraftKings at Casino Queen. DraftKings has their name on a casino.
Yeah, that's important.
Which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And some updates in terms of the retail book in Chicago. DraftKings retail book is now under construction at Wrigley Field.
Okay.
It's going to be
now. Is it going to be outside of the stadium, or can you get to it when you're inside the stadium?
Well, according to the restrictions imposed by the league, there will not be direct access to the stadium.
Okay. All right.
But it will be a 3-story structure.
Wow. I mean, will it be connected, or it can't be connected? Or
it's connected to the stadium.
You just can't get into it if you're inside the stadium.
They're going to have a modern, here's the description, a modern state-of-the-art sportsbook facility with a rooftop open deck area.
Oh, that's nice.
But no direct access into the stadium itself.
It's 3 stories, right? And they have a roof. I wonder if you can actually see the game. You know?
I would assume that's
I know,
the reason for the open deck
that'd be pretty cool.
Area, because they're not allowed to get into the stadium from
Interesting.
So,
okay.
That may be a little way they got around.
We don't know that for sure, but that
no.
would be interesting to see. I mean, if you can watch the game. I know the big thing in Chicago is, they have those, the apartments and across the street, and that seem like you can see into the stadium. I wonder if, I wonder if the sportsbook will have that. We'll see, I guess.
Well, again,
it should keep us in suspense.
This will be open, they're hoping, by the 2023 season.
Okay.
And the reason they didn't start construction just yet, they had just received a couple of months ago permission from the Chicago City Council that allowed them to do this because they had to get, it was a historic landmark situation.
Sure.
Yeah. So they had to wait for that ruling to come through. Now, we had talked
earlier. That's going to be a fun sportsbook to visit.
Yes.
I'd say, especially on game day. Oh, it's going to be great.
See, I'm going to be torn. Do I want to go to Wrigley Field or I want to go to the sportsbook now?
See,
I'm definitely going to want to go to
Well,
Wrigley
look,
Field
in New York, they have legislation where they want to put like sports books in Yankee Stadium and Citi Field, and I think they're going to take a look at how Chicago handles it and see what the situation in Chicago, and maybe that might, kind of move the legislation along in New York.
Hey, New York is already looking to expand the online sports betting market around.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they're
looking for 3 casinos in the Manhattan area,
and they just raised the license price for those.
Yeah.
They're now looking at $1 billion license to get a Manhattan casino. So
and they just decided on fantasy sports. How about that, New York?
I'm waiting to see a fantasy sports bar.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Because you got sports betting bars.
That's an interesting concept. I don't know.
I mean, it's a way for DraftKings and FanDuel to even get additional revenue because sometimes sports bettors and fantasy sports, I know they overlap constantly.
Sure.
But I wonder if there's a chance for a fantasy sports betting themed bar.
Well, that'd be interesting.
We had talked about Massachusetts or Vermont being surrounded by sports betting at the top of the show here. One piece of legislation I just want to hit before we move on to some of the deals. In Maine.
Okay, Maine, you said you were going to bring that up.
There's a new sports betting bill that's making its way through the legislature. It's a compromise bill.
Okay.
Because a while ago, it was released that the governor's office had a sports betting bill that was going to focus on giving, well, basically a monopoly on mobile sports betting and the sports betting industry to the tribes.
Okay.
The Wabanakis.
Okay.
To be specific here. There's a compromise bill that is going to give the tribe exclusive rights to the mobile sports gambling market in the state.
Okay.
As well as giving Maine's 2 casinos, both owned by out-of-state companies, an opportunity to get into the sports betting market as well. Under the terms of the bill, you've got the Oxford Casino up in Oxford, Maine. They would get on-site sports gambling.
All right. Retail only?
Retail and mobile.
Oh, okay, retail and mobile.
Hollywood Casino sports gambling would be located at its raceway.
Okay.
The way it's going to be split up, the tribes will get 50% of the revenue. The sports betting operator would get 40%. Mm-hmm. And then the state would get 10%.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a good compromise. Anyone mad about that?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There's opposition.
All right. Well,
as usual.
There's always opposition.
It's New England. There's opposition to sports betting everywhere. Yeah. Staying in New England a little bit before we even talk about some of the deals, we have Churchill Downs buying a charity poker room to bring in some historical horse racing machines.
Okay.
I think it's Chaser's Poker Room in New Hampshire.
I have no idea what that is.
So it's kind of interesting to watch Churchill Downs make another move into another market for historical horse racing. They currently have 3 other spots, Kentucky, where they're operating, and they have pending deals in Virginia, Louisiana.
Okay.
So New Hampshire's kind of a odd duck.
Yeah, well, it's the farthest north.
Yeah.
It's an interesting market.
And last but not least, we're going to just talk some quick deals here. The big one, we'll probably spend more time on this than any of the other ones, Rush Street Interactive. Okay. Another deal with Rush Street Interactive. This isn't a brand ambassadorship kind of deal. This is a content deal with Mike Francesa.
I heard about this. Yeah, he's going to do a podcast.
Yes,
right?
He's going to be doing a lot with them.
That's great. Yeah, it's he's a legend in radio, so can't wait to hear it.
This is one of the few deals I've seen Rush Street make for both brands. Mm-hmm. This is for Bet Rivers and Play Sugar House.
Okay,
he's going to be doing a twice weekly podcast.
Okay.
Is he still doing his other podcast? I don't remember if he is or isn't.
I don't know. I don't think
I kind of
so.
lost track of him after a while.
Yeah, I was curious to see. I heard he was going to do this podcast. I didn't know how often he would do it.
Twice weekly.
It's twice weekly, okay.
And this actually helps him because I know he still has a huge following in New Jersey, New York.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And even Connecticut.
Absolutely.
I remember I grew up listening to Mike and the Mad Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Saw that split. Then I saw for the Francesa show on WFAN. And then he left WFAN to do his podcasting setup. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I feel bad because I lost track of what he's been doing.
Now, will they keep the Mike's On theme song?
I don't know. That was one of the better theme songs for a show. I wish we could hire somebody to come up with one for us.
Yeah.
But
had I known you were going to do this story, I would have grabbed the Mike's On theme song. I would have played it.
Well, again, that may be owned by something else.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
But again, the deal is the Francesa will provide exclusive network and social media content for both brands. Twice weekly podcast series, series of digital videos that will be on both platforms.
Okay.
So I'm assuming, I know Rush Street does those city casts.
Yes, yeah, they do a betting show in each major city.
For each major city, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's going to be part of that whole lineup of content stuff. They're also going to be having Francesa do appearances at sporting events.
Great.
And
good.
he's going to be doing video content at those appearances, not just by himself, but with the fans as well.
Great. Good.
So I'm going to be very curious to see exactly how the fans interact with him.
Oh no, I can't wait. He's a guy who we grew up with and listening to on the radio. So and anytime he's on the radio,
I'll give him a listen because he's got such a distinctive voice.
Yeah.
And some of his opinions are very interesting in terms of especially the Giants and the Jets.
He's a big horse racing guy. I think he owns horses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Last deal for the day. Potawatomi Hotel and Casino announced a multi-year partnership with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay.
Deal will see the Potawatomi become the exclusive casino partner of the Brewers. There's going to be a Potawatomi branded entrance at the right field side of American Family Field. And it's actually an extension.
I can't wait to see their sign at the stadium because I don't think I've ever seen it spelled out.
Potawatomi?
Potawatomi.
It's one of the more fun casino names to say.
Right, Potawatomi. I love that. I love the name.
So that's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Please keep those press releases coming in. info@turnpikesportsradio.com. If you've been following along on the television side, you will see a lot more news stories scrolling along the bottom. We've even got the print version coming out after this show publishes. Head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the blog button, and you'll see a full-blown print version of the book report covering the stories we just talked about, as well as stories we didn't have time to talk about in the half hour or so that we do this segment.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.